Today we're going to look at flat stats versus percentages. This is a pretty simple video. I just want to cover it because I've seen this coming up quite a few times in global chat. I've seen people asking about it, I've seen people justifying it, and I really just want to put a strong opinion and stance out there. It's okay if you disagree with me, but hopefully I can convince you that percentages are completely the only way to go in this case. I would just like to stipulate before we get into it a bit further, this is focused on myth tier gear, the red tier gear, because the main stat can go higher. For attack percent, myth gear goes up to 60% at level 16, legendary it's 34% at 12. It changes a lot based on what rarity of gear you're at. If at your current game stage you're only farming epic gear, then don't worry about this too much. It's kind of okay to use flats a lot of the time. The substats aren't actually affected by the rarity. You have less of them on the item, but they can still roll as high as they could on a myth item. So if you could have an attack percent roll up to 33% on a myth piece, you could have it roll up to that on an epic piece, which will actually beat the main stat of the epic piece. So this video is going to be primarily focused on myth gear. So let's begin. First off, we'll look at attack, because that's a pretty simple one. It's one of the most important things to gear. A DPS is very important. That's kind of how you get content done. So at the top level, we'll start with Salazar. This case is obviously a bit more weighted. Salazar has a high base attack. So Salazar with an attack percentage piece of gear on is 60% bonus attack. This is scaling off of his base attack, the white number here. So 60% of his attack, 6,500, which gives him 3,900 attack. So he's getting a load of bonus attack from this piece, right? Sometimes what you'll see is a player running with a flat attack piece on a DPS because it has really good substats. They've rolled it, it's got crit rate, crit damage, it's got attack, it's, you know, it looks perfect. Salazar is getting 3,900 attack from this piece. If you use the flat piece, a myth piece at level 16, it would grant him 960 flat. So that is a huge difference. That's a difference of 2,940. That's massive loss of attack if you do that. Well, you could say, well, what if it has a really good attack roll? Okay, say you have rolled a perfect attack bonus on this set piece. You've rolled it with attack percent as a sub, and it rolls all the way to the ceiling, full gold bar. That's around 33%. This is an estimation on the many samples I've looked at, but it will roughly be around 33% at the absolute ceiling. That is 2,145 attack on Salazar. So if you add 2,145 to 960, you get 3,105, which is still around 800 attack short. And that is assuming a scenario is not going to happen. You're not going to roll a gold on one of those stats, nor should you be wasting gold attempting to. If you are at myth gear, you should be saving your gold to roll percentage gear. When you are struggling to get gear, the primary stat is the most important because it's guaranteed. If you get a piece of gear with attack bonus on it and it has flats as the subs, but it's your first piece, roll it up to 12. It will be useful. It will give you a load of main stats that you really need, rather than taking a flat piece and hoping it rolls well on the subs and burning loads of gold into it. Even if it rolls well, it won't beat a percentage piece for the same stat. And yes, theoretically, if you had a piece that had this kind of quality of purple subs and had a flat stat and you were just beginning in the myth tier gear, then maybe it could be useful for you. However, odds are it's not going to roll that way and you'll be wasting so much gold to find out, and I still wouldn't recommend wasting that much gold to take it to 16. So my advice with that is definitely avoid it. Don't roll flat gear at myth gear. At myth level, it's just not worth it. The main stat is so powerful in myth gear that you're better off just taking percentage gear. So this is obviously an example that's a bit more weighted because this is Salazar. He has high base attack. So let's go the other end. Let's take a look at a 5-star epic. So I think this is a pretty fair example to use. He's a 5-star epic. He isn't going to have high base attack. I've deliberately chosen one who has quite a bit lower base attack than some of his other colleagues. So 1972 base attack. And even on Harpoon, if you were to build him, a 60% increase on his attack would give him 1,183 bonus attack, whereas a flat would give him 960. So once again, you are throwing away around 200 attack by doing this. It's just not worth it. Not to mention all the gold you would spend upgrading. It's a big waste of investment. Even at a 5-star epic hero, it's not good. So I think that should round out the attack. Hopefully that's a strong enough examples to put forward. Again, if you are early game and you're an epic gear, it doesn't really matter too much. Don't worry, it's cheap to upgrade at that point. The gold cost isn't that high. And once again, the subs can roll higher than the mains if you're an epic gear. Okay, so let's look at HP. This is Broke here. He's the new defender come out. Fantastic hero, by the way. Definitely recommend him. So he has a base HP, so the white number of 26,143. So 26k. Very nice. If you give him a HP percent piece of gear, and even one with crap subs like this, all he cares about is HP. He scales on HP. This is the main focus for him. That will grant him 15,685. So just over 15,500 HP from 60% HP bonus. And as you can see, the subs aren't great on this. Like, it has some okay stuff on it, but it's not rolled very well. And all of his are pretty much similar to that. Whereas if you were to give him a flat HP piece, instead of getting 15,500 HP, you would be getting 3,600. That's crazy. It's like 12,000 HP difference. So you think, okay, well, I can get HP percent as a sub instead, right? Sure, if you max roll HP as a sub, it will be 0.33%. That's 8.6k. So that's max rolling, bear in mind. This is very generous. You're not going to have that. I've never had it. I haven't seen any max. Oh no, I've seen one that was close to a max rolled sub and it was flat defense. Assuming it is the absolute god roll on HP percent as a sub on a flat HP accessory piece, that would be 8.6k plus 3.6k. That grants you 12.2 thousand HP. So you are still 3,500 HP worse off, and you have spent a bunch of gold rolling all these flat gear up, and you managed to god roll a substat. And that's combining the main stat plus a amazing, never seen before roll on a substat together just to be worse than a piece of gear like this. So it's not worth it, even in this case. So okay, let's have a look at a hero with lower HP. Okay, so this example we're using Midan because she is actually a healer. She's not a defender, so her HP is going to be even lower, but she does actually scale on HP, so you would justifiably build HP on Midan. She is 5-star. So her base HP is 7668. If you multiply that by 60%, a max rolled myth accessory with the HP percent main, then that would give you 4,600 HP. If you were to give her a max flat one, it would give you 3,600 HP, so you are 1,000 HP worse off. Yes, you could technically give her a HP percent sub on top of the flat HP, and it would roll out to be better off. However, the HP percent can also have a flat sub, and it would be significantly better that way around. Because a flat HP sub can cap out at around 3,000 HP, whereas a flat HP main reaches 3,600. So it's way closer as a sub than it is as a main, whereas HP percent as a main is 60%, but as a sub it caps out at 33%. So it's way more efficient to have HP percent as a main. Even in this case where I've chosen someone who's, again, 5-star and is a healer, not a defender, and actually has a fairly low base HP. You don't want to be investing gold in a gear piece which is only just about usable for a hero that is 5-star. It's just not worth it, especially because you need to 16 it to get anywhere near that. And you could argue, well, you can leave it at plus 12, save yourself loads of gold, and it's not going to be as high on the main stat. Well, even still, it still works out 39.5% for a plus 12 myth piece, which will be 3,028 HP on this Midan. And if it were a flat, it would be 2,370, so you're still losing out. It's just not worth investing the gold into it. You're just better off selling flats. So we'll move on to Dolores. Dolores is arguably the best hero in the game. That's how insane she is. You use her in pretty much all content, and she scales off of attack. Getting a good Dolores is incredibly important, and building up as much attack as possible is very, very vital because you want her to be boosting attack as much as possible. So this is scaling on 40% of her attack. There are a bunch of awakenings involved in this, but we won't get into all that now. So my Dolores at awakening 5 has 2662 base attack. With a 60% attack bonus accessory, this is granting my Dolores 1,597, so about 1.6k attack. A flat would be 960 again, so she's dropping over 600 attack on the floor. Again, you can say, well, what if you had a flat attack piece with an attack percent sub and the attack percent sub rolled absolutely godly? Then yes, technically, if you max rolled the attack percent on a flat attack piece of gear, then yes, in total you would end up with 1,838 and you would be in the clear by about 230 attack. But that's not happening. You're not rolling a max piece, and if you are, I feel really sad for you that you rolled it on a flat main. You want that on a percentage. More realistically, you'll roll 20% as a good average roll, like at the beginning purple, and that will give you 532 instead of the 878 you would get at an absolute max roll, and that will leave you at 1492, which is about 100 attack shy of just having a 60% attack bonus. And bear in mind, you can get attack bonus with attack flat subs. It's not that hard to come across. It is much better to wait until you get something like that. So again, I would still say you really want to just hold out for the attack bonus. It's just a lot safer, it's more reusable in future, and it's better to invest your gold in. So then there are a couple of other things for Dolores. You could say, what about HP? It's really common to use the Glacier set because the Glacier scales and grants you attack bonus based on max HP. I really like the Glacier set. It's not the only set you can use on her. There are now a couple of alternatives, Invigoration for one and Mana Spring as the other. So you could think, well, what if I use a HP percent or a flat HP as a main in order to get more attack? That way, instead of taking an attack bonus, we're competing with 1.6k attack from a 60% main. So we're hoping to get at least near that from a HP bonus or a flat HP. So Dolores at max level with max awakenings has 8659, so about 8.6, 8.7k HP base. So 60% bonus of that, if you were to have a plus 16 myth accessory piece, would be granting her 5.2k. Now the Glacier is going to grant 6% of that as an attack bonus, which is 311. So that is massively shy of the 1600 you would get from an attack percent piece. If you were to use flat HP, you would get 3600 instead of 5.2k, and that would grant you as 6% of it only 216. So now you are talking about 1400 attack short. So that's a massive difference. You're leaving so much attack on the floor for bonuses. So that pretty much covers what I wanted to go over. I'm not sure any other examples I could use. Defense isn't really commonly built for anyone, but the maths will work out the same. Main stats are kind of grouped in the same block. Just for your information, a lot of stats are grouped together and scale in the same way. So attack percent, defense percent, HP percent, crit rate, healing effect, and rage regen efficiency all level up and scale at the same rate as a main and as a substat. So their ceiling will be 60% as a main, and as a sub, their ceiling will be around 33%. So for all of those just listed, it will be roughly the same calculation. Obviously, you can't get flats of some of those, but for the flat stats of attack, HP, and defense, you're going to be way better off taking the percentage. So that pretty much covers all I wanted to go over. I just wanted to put a strong opinion out there that you should be going for percentage main stats, and even if they don't have great substats, it's still almost always going to be better than having a flat. And once again, this is explicitly for myth gear. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, if you disagree with me in anything, that's totally okay, but let me know below and I will get back to you. So thank you very much. Have a great one. Take care and bye-bye.